Okay, hi guys. We're going to go over Gokasho Bay hole 7. This one's a funny hole. Everyone sort of plays it a different way. We'll go over the way that I like to play it, and we'll go over all the shots. Now, this is another hole where it's an advantage to have a Goliath, in my opinion. When you have a headwind, you can still play with a Goliath from down here, which is the shot that I like to play. I got that one pretty dialed in, with the spins and whatnot with the different winds. Uh, with a grizzly, you can't play this shot with a headwind, because you'll be pulling into overpower. You're in between clubs. Okay, the other shot is a sniper shot from here. That's my second favorite shot, I guess. There's also a shot from down further. Again, if you for some reason you're playing with a guardian, I don't play with the guardian on 2 or 10. I don't see a lot of use for it. And there's also a bunker bump where you can play it at the bunker and roll it out. And that shot is sort of hit and miss. I would play it if I had to. Like if my opponent gets like right up next to the cup or gets a hole in one, that is your best shot at a hole in one, in my opinion. Um, but it's also, if you've played that shot before, you've probably missed and flew the green into the water like I have, or done some crazy stuff. So uh, we'll look at some of that there. The way that I play this hole is no elevation ever on any of the shots, because there isn't any. And I play with the wind arrow, right, to help us with our wind effect. Okay, and let's go look at some holes here. So I play from this lower spot. Now I played it two different ways. The first, when I used to play it, I always hugged the Goliath blue. You'll see, and that's just finding out your areas. So there's two ways to play this. You can drill it into that. See, I always just look at. I'm not even looking at my ball guide other than where my second bounce is. So I don't worry about what the ball guide's doing other than where I want that second bounce. So this wind effect is going to put it into the hill and bounce it over. And I always used to play, see how that blue ring is surrounding the rough there? Okay. And this would be, a max Goliath with the wind arrow, and you can offset a little bit with curl. I always try and put, a little right spin on it. I didn't see what I did with the ball there, but probably about one topspin. Okay, and that's all you're trying to do is you just pop it into that second bump, and it's just gonna pop out onto the green. The way to get closest to the hole, like if my opponent made that shot and I was shooting now, I would try and dribble it over, and that you can get closer that way. Although it can run off, and you can see the ball guide here. Watch when I'm kind of fooling around. So this is 1.5-ish topspin I'm playing. No, one topspin. So see how that ball guide is sort of taken off? That can happen to you where when you try and play the dribble shot. So like it's normal if you hit a bad shot here sometimes. Like so I only play that dribble shot if my opponent has hit a good shot. Like if he's at the 2 yard mark or whatever, like I did here on this shot, I would play the dribble shot to try and get within the 2 yards, because that one seems to always get to about 1.5 yards to, or even holing it out. This is the consistent shot. Like you just see your ball guide. Like you can see where all I did was look at my ball guide bouncing into that hill, and it's just about the spin. So that was a one top spin, right? So let's go to the next. So here, I think this is the bunker bump. So the only way I would have been playing this shot is because my opponent probably holed out, or he was like, right beside the cup. Because in this wind, it's the only way I would never play this with a high wind unless that happened, because it was just my only chance of beating or tying him with a hole in one. So you could see here, okay, I'm going to pull, that's about, I would say, 10 and a touch. So it looks like and then I do another ring here. So I would say that's about 1 to 1 plus 1 with this wind. And see how I offset with the curl? I got a little left curl, because, not a lot, just a touch to offset that wind, because I want to get that same bounce out of the bunker. And this is what I was saying about this shot. If you hit the right spot in the bunker, right, you have a real good chance of going in the hole. It's a fluky shot. I don't like shots like this, but sometimes you have to play them when your opponent just does something really good, and you got to come up with something. All right, next. So see here, Goliath again. So this time the wind's in our face this time. My thing's blocking. So here we go. That's 2 topspin. Okay. So see again, blue ring hugging the rough. So I tend now to play a little higher than that, and we'll probably have some of those shots as well. But all it is picking your landing area and your spin, right? So, and the other thing is on this hole too, if I didn't mention it, is trying to either get a little right spin or a little right curl on your shot, because you want this shot. See how I got, this is the dribble one, right? And this is the one that kind of rolls out. Now, if I had have played a little right curl, a little right spin, you want to be bouncing or coming over that hill on the right side, because it's going to come in real nice from the right side towards the cup. Okay, so that was a headwind with 2 topspin. It was a lower wind, a 6-3 wind. With a higher wind, I probably would have to go up to 2.5 to 3 topspin. Okay, so here's an 11-1 at about the 1 o'clock mark. So again, blue ring sort of hugging the rough there. And see, because of that high wind, I'm only playing like just like a quarter to a half of a topspin, right? Because I know that ball guide's going to go out further than what it's saying, and I'm just trying to bounce it into that hill, right? So, and again, playing, no elevation with that wind arrow, right? If you don't play with that wind arrow, right, then you have to see what that wind arrow is equivalent to. There's no, as you can see, just looking down, there's no elevation here. It's just a straight. And if you want to look at what 10% elevation really looks like Google a protractor or whatever, 10 elevation is pretty, it's a lot downhill. So that was a real nice shot. So it's all about that second bounce. Let's look again halfway through. So after our adjustment here, and you're always sort of in the max range of your Goliath here. If you're pulling like a big tailwind, you would maybe like pull a little less because you're pulling closer to min or to mid. So here, bounce, and it just bounces nice and pops over, right? So that's all it is that second bounce. Not even worrying about your ball guide. All you really want to see is your ball guide is bouncing into that hill and bouncing right of the pin. Because once you get it right of the pin, it's just going to roll nicely down towards the hole. Okay, so you can see blue ring again on the rough. Okay, so that, was always my landing spot. I've been fooling around with a different one. But this, I should probably just go back to this all the time. It looks like it's, the pretty consistent shot, just getting the spins down. And you can see, like, I would guarantee every time I play this hole, and, in normal circumstances with this Goliath shot, like, I expect to be a yard to 2 yards from the hole every time. Like, this shot here would be your average shot, I feel like I've hit a bad shot when I'm over 2 yards. And it's going to, when most guys are playing that sniper shot from halfway, and it's just inconsistent. It's all bumpy, I've seen lots of holes and ones from there and good shots from there too, but I've seen lots of bad shots. Where this shot is just always because I'm landing on a flat area and I can control what I'm doing. Where, if you've probably been like me with the sniper shot, and it all of a sudden you go like a big bounce to the left or a big bounce to the right on your first bounce and you're nowhere near the hole. Where this shot just seems real consistent. So that would have went further than I wanted to, but still bounced on that hole, and there we go. That all it is that second bounce, just getting into that hill. That one there was quite a bit further than I would have wanted to be with the strong wind. So see, these are the grizzly ones now, where the grizzly gives you the nicer ball guide, but I don't need the end of the ball guide. I don't need to see. All I need to see is the bounce that it's going into the hill. Like you can see here, all I need to see is that bounce. So the Grizzlies okay with this wind, but see if I had a big headwind now, see I'm right into max there, right? I couldn't adjust if I had a headwind. I would be into the sniper, and that's no good, being in between clubs. So, I think the Grizzly's a better club than the Goliath, but there's 3 or 4 holes like this on 2 or 10 where you just lose out on good shots. Uh, having the Grizzly, I played with it for like a month, like that when they upgraded it, and I just went back. I couldn't take it anymore. Just losing too many times when I would have a sniper shot when the long iron shot is just way better. Okay, so as you can see, these are all pretty much the same. Hopefully, I probably do have some sniper shots in here, I would imagine. Hopefully. I just don't play it anymore. I used to play it, I just found it inconsistent. So you can see here on this one, this is probably when I started trying to play a little higher without the blue ring in the rough and trying to play less spin. And I think I'm going to go back to that blue ring in the rough though. So you can see I come up a little further here, and just playing a little less spin. Oops. Sorry about that. Get back to where we were. So the main thing about this, and we'll go back after, we'll make notes about the spin, is just when you have the headwind and if it's a bigger wind or it's not, right? So as you can see, it's a pretty consistent shot. It's always around the hole. And if you can get to that right side, then you're going to have a real good chance for a hole in one. You want to come in from the right because it's just a little funnel. If you get the right speed, you'll funnel right in there. So see here in the Grizzly, see I'm right into max again. So as you can see, like this less than one top, that's one topspin, but that's a lower wind on an angle. And it's just max with arrow. Great left doesn't affect you much here either because it kicks you to the right actually. Okay, that was real close. And when you're doing this, I'll see how I'm fooling around trying to find, little gullies and angles, and it's sort of a fun hole to fool around with, especially when it works out. Like you could see me really trying to dial this one in. The guy must have been close where I just, really. So when I saw that ball guy going right towards the hole, just pulled off a little bit because I know that wind effect's going to push a bit. So I came back a yard. So as you can see, just playing from here, it's just real, real easy. I'll probably, hopefully we have a sniper shot. Just don't play that shot very often. That was a real dialed in one. You could see the guy must have been close because I was really trying to get that tight. Okay, so here's a nice big headwind. So here's the sniper shot. Okay, so I'm in the min or close to the min of the sniper. So see where my ball, I'm going past the hole and stuff because I know my ball guide's it's gonna bring me back, right? So let's see how many rings I play this. I would suggest 11.1. Let's see. So I played that about 10 and a bit because I was in this. What did I do? I went 1-1. That's probably what I did. And that worked out. I just don't like that shot. I don't like my adjustment on that shot either. I probably should have pulled a little more on that. Okay, so we'll look at, I know there's a bunch of these. We'll look at one or two more. Let's see. So I have a headwind again. So this could be another sniper shot. You can see I didn't play a ton of backspin because I know that wind is going to compress me. So I only played 2 backspin. And see, I don't care where the ball guide's going like that because I know I'm not bouncing there. I'm bouncing on top of the hill, hopefully, is what I'm trying to do. Because the wind going towards me is going to pull the ball back when it bounces. I'm not, don't even look at the ball guide. I'm just looking at where I'm going to make that second bounce again. And that's key. Is not worrying too much about what your ball guide's doing into these heavier winds. See, all I wanted to do was bounce on that, on that hill. Okay, this is the wrong hole. Let's go here. So I think we've seen enough of these. So let's get out of here. Let's. I don't want to run these too long. So let's go back to our drawing. Okay, so what we know, okay, is that we play the. Oops. We play this shot. Okay, so long iron is basically max with arrow. Okay, if you're pulling way back with a tailwind, you'll take a little off, right? Not as many rings because you're pulling back towards mid, okay? So, and if we're playing this shot, that looked like we played about 1-1. So we'll say roughly 1-1. We're just sort of guessing. This sand bump looked like 1-1 +1. Right, because it's a bit of a further shot, so I would guess that was about 1-1 +1 when we were looking at it there. Now that was in a big tailwind, right? Might be different, that was a bit of a guess to me. I would say on a side wind it might be like 1-1, but the main focus of this is this bottom shot. Okay, so when our wind chart. Okay, so I would say with a tailwind. We saw that we're about 0.5 topspin. This was about closer to 1 topspin when it was on an angle, right? And I would say this is about, 1.25, something like that. And I would say this is 1.5 and 2. Now, on a heavy, like a 10 or an 8, maybe even 8+ wind in your face, I would play this maybe even 2.5. And remember, all you're trying to picture is that second bounce coming into that hill, pops it over, easy shot. This shot will win you like almost all the time. Almost everyone I play is playing that other sniper shot. And you saw that I hit a couple good ones. I've hit bad ones too. It's probably good that I do these videos when I hit bad ones as well. To what did we do wrong? It's just not a consistent landing area. This area down below. And that's why, and it's one of the holes why I just always want a Goliath on, because when I get that hole, I can just always play that shot, and it always comes close. All right, so that's enough of Gokasho Bay 7, and we'll see you on the next one.